And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Zija International's Biz Talks. Here we are, mid-November 2018, and I'll say things are really exciting in Zija land, as we like to call it. I'm really excited to share this evening's show with one of my dear friends and top leaders in Zija, Amica Volger, who's actually a doctor of physical therapy, living currently still in Utah, right, Amica? And she's joined. I'm in Idaho, thank you. I didn't sound right. And she's joining me today to share a little bit about Zija. And there's a lot of good news there. We're going to cover quite a few areas today, from leadership to the products to the timing and where we're going with the company. But before we dive in, I just want to take a moment to welcome all of you to the call. I can see there's quite a few leaders joining us, people that are working out there in the field. But today's call is really for the new person. You know, maybe somebody in your life, a friend, a family member, someone recommended this to you. And I want you to know that tonight is really for you, so that you can get an idea of what some of us are experiencing being involved with, as we like to call it, Zija Nation. So go ahead and get out your notebooks. We're going to dive in. And what I'm going to do, Amica, is I'm just going to interview you, because you've really got kind of a bird's eye perspective on Zija over several years, coming in from zero and becoming one of the diamond executives in this company. And that's not easy to do. And yet it also is a very organic, wonderful, natural process, because people love what we have. So if you wouldn't mind, start off by telling me a little bit about what first attracted you to this opportunity.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you, first of all, Amy, for having me on. And I have so much respect for you. And I love your heart, and you are such a true servant leader. So I'm honored to be on the call with you. Well, my story begins just about 4 years ago. And what I was really attracted to was Moringa. I was just finishing graduating with my doctorate in physical therapy, and was blown away by all the evidence behind this tree and the fact that it was the most nutrient dense plant, and I had never heard of it before. So that's what really intrigued me initially, Amy, was Moringa. And I knew right away that it was something I wanted to put in my body, but also everyone in my family was going to need it too. So that's what I joined for, was Moringa, and just the evidence. So that's kind of how my journey got started, was learning about that tree.
Well, we share that in common. I myself am also involved in anything to do with body transformation and overall wellness. And the Moringa is incredible. And we can delve into the products a little bit more in a moment. But I first kind of want to move over. Once you came into the company and began to kind of experience the culture, if you will, the leadership, what was your impression? Share with me a little bit about that, if you would.
Yeah. So I initially had no intention of really doing this as a business at all, but it was actually an event that I went to a few weeks into my journey, because Dr. Plant was going to be there, and I wanted to meet him. And I went to that event, and that's actually really when I caught a vision of how this could be something bigger in my life and the lives of others around me. And it was hearing the testimonies, the heartfelt, authentic testimonies of people there, and how these products had transformed their lives. I remember it was so genuine, it was so heartfelt, and the leaders people thought differently. I'd never been around people that had, I guess, so many people that had such positive, forward thinking, visionary mindsets. And I knew that those were the types of people that I wanted to surround myself with. So I came back from that first event just super on fire to take this thing to another level that I had no intention of doing. So it was really that first event, that sparked my journey.
Wow. That, first of all, I couldn't agree more. Dr. Plant is such a genius, and his heart is so committed to natural solutions. And Dr. Plant really is his name, by the way, everyone. And he's, really done a huge service to humanity in what he's brought to us through his scientific mind and his passion. And I love the other thing that you point out is attending an event. and the difference that that can make for people. I think we underestimate it. If you have any chance to get to an event, I highly encourage. We have several wonderful events coming up around the country, actually, in the next month or two. And it's going to be very meaningful when you can get that in-person experience. But you also said something that really touched me, and that's the vision. And that vision of this company really began with our founder, Ken Brailsford, who, right, bow down to Ken Brailsford. I'd never heard of him before, but boy, he's one of my favorite people on planet Earth now. Talk to me a little bit about Ken.
Yeah, well, like you, I'd never heard of him before. One thing that really stood out to me was that he was the father of herbal encapsulation, and that he had built, 2 other multi-$100 million health and wellness companies, and he'd never heard of moringa before. So I was really drawn to the story, how that documentary got brought to him, and he was spiritually prompted to come out of retirement and bring this tree to the world. So for me, just hearing a story of a man who had so much success, he was a billionaire, he'd had 2 other companies, and for him to, at his age, to work so hard and to have just unwavering commitment to bring this tree to the Western world, that really, really inspired me. And that's a story that I still share with people till this day. And I think that's one of the things that makes Zija so unique is Ken Brailsford. And also too, as I started to grow this business, the fact that I knew it was something that was going to be around for a long time because of his track record of success in his other companies, because they're still in business, and he has just an amazing track record. So I think that there's a lot of things that set Zija apart, but Ken Brailsford is definitely the main thing, that sets Zija apart. And when you're attached to not only amazing product and amazing leaders, but a founder that has a track record of success and vision, you can't lose. So yeah, I would agree with you. Bow down to Ken Brailsford.
Very well said. And I share that story all the time. The fact that he was moved by the difference moringa could make, just in terms of basic, I like to call it my nutritional insurance policy, but that it works for any person, any age, anywhere in the world. People get the same results. Even animals get the same results, and I love that because, of course, you can't placebo test a horse, right? But it's also when you have someone of that level of integrity and, as you point out, track record, I notice they tend to attract geniuses. And when you do that level, that quality of work, you have people like Dr. Plant. And if you haven't looked him up, my goodness, you guys, please do. He, was pulled into the National Institutes of Health for his work. And then he was, given a full ride at Harvard Medical School. And he finished, what is that, a 7 to 9 year program. He finished with 2 small children at home in 3.5 years, magna summa cum laude. Could have gone anywhere. Literally 100 job offers around the world. Why did he choose Zija? He says we're doing the most exciting work in plant medicine in any industry, of any company in the world. So, and that's just an example. Dr. Scott Johnson, Dr. Monica Marcoux, lending her name to our advisory board. She's arguably one of the world's leading pharmacologists. And so, like you, I love your perspective because you have that medical background. What is your take on just our advisory board alone, right?
To be connected to that caliber of people is, the word blessing just comes to mind. I was just actually talking with a customer of mine the other day about some stuff she's got going on health-wise, and I was like, you know what? Let's just all connect you with one of the doctors in our company, and we'll have a conversation. And she was like, oh no, you don't have to do that. And she was like, I don't want to have to pay anything. I was like, you don't have to pay anything. Like, that's like the value of being a part of this movement, is you are connected to some of the brightest minds in the world in this industry. So it's an honor. It's a real honor to have those relationships and those connections and help people solve their health problems. So yeah,
Beautifully said. Yeah, absolutely. That we get to work in consortium with these people is incredible. Well, let's move over
Yeah.
to the products for a minute. There's more than we can talk about, even in this particular conversation, because we like to keep these introductions short. And you and I could probably spend 3 hours talking about just sharing our own product stories. For me, it was Moringa, like you. That's where I started. But now we've got these 3. Well, I like to say 4 product divisions, really, if you include the skincare just by itself as a sleeping giant. But that comes in. We have the nutritional category. That's the Moringa-based products. We've got these all-natural sports fitness with the ripstick. As far as I know, athletes tell me it's the only natural line they've ever used that actually works. And then, of course, there are essential oils, which are the only clinical grade in the world. I mean, take your pick. They're all wonderful, but, share a little bit about the products, if you would, Amica, especially from your medical point of view.
Yeah. Well, I think obviously Moringa being my first love in the company was I was really attracted to that. And I think the one thing is all the anti-inflammatories. What I've learned through my course of studies is that inflammation is the root of everything, of every dis-ease. And I know we can't treat, cure, diagnose, mitigate, but when we get the body's inflammation down, the body starts to self-correct. And I think that's one of the biggest things is focusing on that. What I'm really excited about right now is how we've introduced, a probiotic for gut health, because you and I both know, Amy, that so many people are struggling with their digestive health, and that is the root of most disease too. Sorry, I don't know if you heard that ding. That's the root of most disease too. And so we can help people. I always tell people, if you do nothing else, starting with our core nutrition Moringa, but now I'm like, you need to get on the probiotic too, the new triotic product. So I'm really excited about that. I've seen so many changes in my own digestive health and skin health after just using it for 4 weeks. So, but I think overall, I'm like you, I love all the different product lines we have, but really just meeting people where they're at, whatever, when you're out there talking to people and listening, whatever their need is, we have a solution. And it might just be they need, that essential oil to start diffusing in their house to help with all the germs because it's cold and flu season. It might just they're looking for a natural deodorant. They don't want to put toxins in their armpit, whatever it is. We've got a solution, I feel like, for almost everything. And we're going to continue to expand into being that natural lifestyle company where people can, nourish, restore, enhance their overall well-being. So I could go on and on about the products. I use all of them from every line. One thing too, I'll just share is that the essential oils, the AGX men's and women's, that's become a staple for me and my customers. And I've just seen such a powerful transformation in overall hormonal balance because it supports normal hormonal balance for men and women. So those are the products right now that I'm starting to get really, really good feedback on from people that have been taking them consistently. So I could go on and on, Amy, and feel free to ask me any more questions about them, but start with whatever, start with whatever you can budget-wise, but definitely get starting in with our core nutrition, the triotic, and then expanding from there would be my recommendation.
Excellent. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like I say, it's my favorite nutritional gap insurance. And that Smart Mix is a prebiotic. So if someone does have gut health issues, I'll just throw that in. Smart Mix with the triotic is a brilliant combination. And then, of course, that detox tea is unlike any I've ever experienced. It's really a tremendous way to help purify the body. But I agree, we could go on and on. I'd rather shop for myself in a big box store. So I use the shampoo, the conditioner, the toothpaste. In fact, I've never seen so many people get excited about toothpaste. It's that good. But, we'll go ahead and just kind of bookmark it there, let people do the research. But I love what you said. You get in where you fit in, right? Yep. Let's just spend the last couple minutes, just for a minute, if you would. You've gotten to see Zija go from, Ken's brilliance in building a foundation slowly so that it's really solid. I mean, we are going 11 years old, right? 12 years old, I should say. And yet we look like we're 40. I mean, in fact, many companies, they don't even get to 40. And if they do, they still don't look as good as we do. We're debt-free. We're vertically integrated, which means we own everything. No one else gets to put their finger in this pie. And we oversee that everything is done to our 100% integrity specifications, thanks to Ken and Dr. Plant. And of course, our whole corporate staff is wonderful. That's a very unusual situation to be in, that we have this foundation. And what's more, we're annualized at maybe 150 million a year right now. We're doing quite well. But we literally are built to go to $1 billion in sales without adding a brick. Let's just talk a little bit about what it would mean for someone. And of course, you and I wouldn't trade a minute of being in a company prior to this. But what could it mean for someone to get started with us today, timing-wise?
It's I think now is such a perfect time because of, like you said, the solid foundation that Ken has built and Dr. Plant has built in corporate. But it's like, I've been involved now for just over 4 years, and it's like all the kinks have gotten worked out. They've made it so simple now with our back office, with the message, with the advisory board coming on to educate. And it's just like, there's no barriers to someone coming in and getting started with whatever they can and going out and getting their products for free. And then starting to get a paycheck and just starting to build something that can really be an incredible residual income. There's like no barriers now because we've refined it. We're like a fine oiled machine. And I was talking to a friend the other day at an event, and she was like, how come no one knows about your company? Like, how come I haven't heard about this? How come I've heard about all the other ones? And we were like, well, Zija has done it right. First we will be best, and then we will be first. And we're not a hypey company. We don't attract the hustler type people that are just in it for the money. We really attract people for the right reasons, that have a passion for helping people with their health and want something that's longevity. That's the word I'm looking for. Something that's not just going to be here today, gone tomorrow. So it's so exciting for the new people coming in that are taking a look, and they're coming in and getting to surround themselves with leaders like you and Fred that have been doing it and have all the experience of what works, what doesn't work. And we can just go faster now. I feel like because we've got everything lined up, we can go faster now. They've taken out all the barriers. So yeah, I'm really excited about that.
Really well said. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And the fact that, even customers, people that are just so busy or whatever, and they just need a kind of a passive thing. They love the product, just consuming the product, which is really all we do. I think that's why it works. And I love your point that it's, these aren't, experienced network marketers. 80% of our distributor base has never done this before. It's one of my favorite statistics about our company, right? It really validates that it's because we loved it so much we couldn't help ourselves. We had to tell someone, who doesn't want their mom to feel better? And so I found that, the way they have created our plan, that, even customers just sharing with their friend, family, neighbor, can very easily get their product at no cost, that they get rewarded just for doing what we do anyway, right? Don't you always share a good movie or a good restaurant? But they don't usually buy you lunch when you do that. Here, Zija says thank you. Yeah. And it's a really nice sort of organic process that I think anyone who finds they love these products are going to do anyway. And it's just such a nice bonus to then be rewarded for that, right? And it's wonderful. And I love also what you said about, the barriers are removed. Everything's in place, that we will be best first. And I love that, the way you put that, because it really is true. Ken's reputation precedes him, and everything he's done. There's a reason, Nature's Sunshine, that was started in the 70s, is still running strong, is still in one of the top 24 legacy companies in the world. Same with his second company, started in the 80s. It's still running, multi-billion-dollar company. Zija's his third company. The man knows what he's doing. right? We have the best
Yeah.
delivery of moringa in the world, in my opinion. I'm not alone in thinking that, but when you can deliver the highest strain, grown in the right soil, delivered raw and enzymatically alive, man, that's hard to top. And as far as I can see, no one has yet. If they have tried, they didn't admit it. So, you've got the best leadership, the most wonderful version of some of the most nutrient dense botanical and other product lines in the world, all category creators, first to market. And then this timing, which is incredible. So, I think you've really hit all the points beautifully, Amica. I can't thank you enough. Any parting words for our guests this evening?
I would just say, get started. Like you can listen, you can do your research, but you're not going to really have an experience until you get these products in your body. And trust the person who invited you to view this information. For me, that was one of the biggest things too, is, the stories that I heard from the person that introduced this to me, I trusted that. And yeah, like there's nothing, you have literally nothing to lose. One thing we didn't touch on is the company's money back guarantee, like that we're so confident that these products work that there's a 30-day money back guarantee. So I would just say get started with whatever you can and invite a couple people to go on the health journey with you. That will help you with your accountability. It will help them, and it will also trigger you to start getting your products for free, if that's something you'd like to do. So I know me, I always like free. So that would be my recommendation to me. But thank you for having me on. And if I can help, you or anyone in Zija Nation, let me know. I'm committed to this cause, and natural health and wellness is something I live by every day. So I'm just honored to be a part of this company, and just thanks for having me on.
Well, you always help, Amica. You have since I first known you. You've made a difference for me and so many others. Thank you for being a leader in what we like to call the natural health revolution, as we help educate people through Zija Nation on things they can do readily and easily to inspire a new lifestyle. And we give them everything they need to do that. And you really are a leader in that. So thank you for everything. With that, folks, I'm going to say, reiterate what Amica said. Get back with the person who invited you to this call. Get the information you need. Get your questions answered. And ultimately, put it in your body. See what it does for you. I think Amica's dead on with that. That's how you really, in the end, know. Your body's the best judge. And then take advantage of the tools we have. If you jump in this week, we have Saturday morning, we have new distributor training every week. We have that available. We have Millionaires in Training with our master distributor on Mondays. Pat Anderson, the top woman in the world, does the health talks every Wednesday. We just have incredible tools for you to support you. Let us know. Get back to the person who invited you, and have a wonderful rest of your night. Amica, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
You're welcome.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.